I want to talk to you about how to turn lost sales into sales. I earned over $100,000 a month in commission as a salesperson, selling $1.12 million per month in cash collected. I then trained the sales team at Alex Hormozi's old gym launch, which was sold for $46.2 million. And I've helped business owners scale their sales teams to multiple millions of dollars per month and beyond. Now, I run the Unicorn Closer Mastermind for the top 0.00001% of salespeople who want to make more money and become the best version of themselves simultaneously. If you want to earn a massive fucking living as a salesperson, to be fucking rich, then you need to know two things. Number one, why you lost the sales you lost. And number two, how do you then turn those lost sales into sales? Most closers get duped into trying to follow up and spend hours and hours managing a pipeline. But when you know how to turn lost sales into sales, you have a license to print money or commission every single month and not be wasting your time doing follow-up. In this video, the methodology and the system that I'm going to teach you is going to allow you to make more money, to make selling easier for you, to have more fun selling, to become a way better version of yourself, and it's going to help you understand what exactly you need to work on as a salesperson. But if you can't sit and listen for 5 minutes and concentrate and focus to all of this knowledge that I'm going to give you for free, then you may as well just turn off this video because you're not going to make it. So what exactly am I going to train you on today? Number one, what to do to turn lost sales into sales. Number two, how to do it, how to turn lost sales into sales. And number three, why it works. Why does this work to turn lost sales into sales? I'm going to teach you all of it. Now, there's 3 parts to how to turn lost sales into sales, and they are equally essential to know because they each cover a completely different aspect of why you are losing sales and how to turn a previous no into a yes. And so the training that we'll cover at the end of this video is just as critical as the first training at the start. If you don't know why this works, you can apply all of the bits that I'm going to teach you at the beginning of what to do and how to do it, and you'll still be losing sales from not knowing and understanding the deeper reason why it works. To sell all of those lost sales from no's into yeses and stack cash or commission into your bank account, you have to understand the whole complete picture. So the first thing I want to teach you about how to turn lost sales into sales is a quote. Yes, a quote. If you understand this quote, you're going to make a lot more progress in life because progress happens outside of the common norm or the crowd or the sheep or the people that are just doing the same thing. And so this is the quote. It says, the most dangerous phrase in language is, we've always done it this way. I'm going to say that again. The most dangerous phrase in language is, we've always done it this way. And so that comes from Rear Admiral Grace Hopper. And so why is this important with turning lost sales into sales? Well, let me ask you a question. How do you usually attempt to do that? I'm going to guess you do follow-up, or you do managing a pipeline. How's that going for you? Probably not very well. You probably spend hours a day not only doing the work in the CRM, but frustrated and fed up and feeling shit because you're pestering people and chasing people. And you might get a couple sales a month. Maybe if you're doing really well, you might get 1 or 2 sales a week from follow-up, which for how much it's frustrating you and the time and effort that you're putting in, I would argue, is that a good ROI? Is that a good return on investment? Now, let's just suppose that the answer is not really. Then why are you doing it? Why is everybody doing it? Because that is the way that it's always been done. Now, I have another picture that we can put up on the screen which says the same old thinking. Now, I have another picture that we can put up on the screen that says the same old thinking equals the same old results. Now, if you're watching this video, if you heard the intro, you don't want to be the same as everyone else. You don't want the same old, typical results. You want to be the best. If not, then this probably isn't the right video for you, because I train closers, I train salespeople to get away from what is the normal way of doing things or the average results. So if you want to get different results, like Albert Einstein says, the most insane thing, I'll keep doing the same thing, but expecting a different result, right? All of the training I'm going to take you through, you have to be bought into this principle. Otherwise, it's not going to make any sense. And it's not going to be useful. That if you want to get results that you haven't been getting before, if you want to have a new experience, a new amount of money in your bank account, a new enjoyment of selling, a new version of yourself that you're becoming, you have to look at what everybody else is doing and what you've been doing in the past and say, I'm going to do something different. So with that said, let's crack into the first part of how to turn lost sales into sales. And no, we're not going to be doing traditional follow-up, sending a little text message or a little email saying, hey, John, just checking in. What actions have you taken since we last spoke? Or, hey, John, just checking in. You told me that you're going to get back to me. So here I am chasing you for money and commission and stinking of commission breath. You don't want to be doing that. Okay. So what do you do instead? So there is 3 stages to turning a lost sale into a sale. So this is, what do I need to do? We're going to get into how, we're going to get into why it works. But first, what do you need to do? So let's first think about, why did you lose the sale? Well, there's only 2 reasons that you can ever lose a sale. 2 reasons. What do you think those are? The first reason is you didn't say or do something that you were supposed to say or do. The first reason, you didn't say or do something that you were supposed to do. You're on a sales call. You were supposed to say this question. You were supposed to show up in this way. You were supposed to have this type of energy or state at the end of the call when you were collecting the payment, and you didn't do that. Okay? So it was something that you were supposed to say or do that you did not do. Okay? Now, if you think back to all your sales calls, you'll probably find that 50% of them fall into this category. You know, I listened to the call review, I didn't say this or I didn't do this, and that is where the sale was lost, right? So what is the second one? Second one is you said something or you did something that you shouldn't have said or you shouldn't have done. I'll give you a typical example for salespeople, which is why inside my Unicorn Closer Mastermind, I train so heavily on the internal mastery, salespeople who get reactive. Prospect says something, maybe you've got an A-type personality on the phone and they're being a little bit difficult, they're not opening up to you, they're saying they don't trust you, they're super skeptical, and you as the salesperson get a little bit reactive. It might not be verbal, it might just be your tone, might just be energetically, and the prospect feels it and they start shutting off even more, or maybe they just brush it under the carpet till the end of the call, and then they give you a think about it, partner objection, I need to ask my wife, I need to pray on it, whatever, they don't buy. So the second one is you did something or you said something that you shouldn't have said or you shouldn't have done. So now we've got 100% of the lost sales, 50% of the calls, ballparking the number, you didn't say something or you didn't do something on the call that you should have done. The other 50%, you said something or you did something that you shouldn't have done. Does that make sense? So there's only 2 reasons you lose a call. Now, bonus, this is why if you want to get really good at sales, really, really, really good, and you want to do it in a very short period of time. So my background is I went from $0. I was literally working 4 jobs. I was a laborer on a Saturday morning. I was an office worker in the weekdays. I was a security guard at the weekend evenings, and I was a pizza boy delivery driver in the evenings of the week. And I was only making £1,500, which is about $1,800 in an entire month. And I was working 70 plus hours a week. And 18 months later, 18, not 80, 18 months later, I was printing and putting into my bank account over $100,000 per month. Why is that? It's because I'm a fucking genius. No, I'm just kidding. It's because I had a mentor. I'm not any smarter than you. I wasn't born with sales skills. I'm actually a massive introvert and I find it difficult to talk too much. So imagine that. I went from 4 jobs, 70 hours a week, £1,500, $1,800 a month. 18 months later, over $100,000. Mentorship is the key. There is 2 things that having a mentor and having the right mentor is going to do for you, especially in this process here, turning lost sales into sales when we're doing our review and we're doing our revise. So what are those 2 things? Well, number 1, you don't know what you don't know. In other words, you have blind spots from lack of experience, lack of insight, lack of skill, lack of understanding, and you might be reviewing your sales call and you don't see a place where you said the wrong thing or a place where you should have said something that you didn't say, or a place where you need to change something. You might not see it. You might just be looking at the transcript and say, okay, I can see 3 mistakes. But a mentor, because they have more experience and they're able to see from that experience, they might look at it and go, no, actually there's 5, or there's 10 mistakes, or there's 15 mistakes. So the first of the 2 reasons why having a mentor is key is you don't know what you don't know. The second reason is when you know what you did wrong, so you said something that you shouldn't have said, or you didn't say something that you should have said, do you know how to fix it? So one thing is knowing what went wrong, and number 2 is how to fix it. And you may look at your transcript and spot all of the things that you did wrong, and you may know how to fix some of them, but there is probably going to be some of those things that you look at and you're like, I know what I did wrong. I shouldn't have said this, or I should have said this in a different way, but I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what I should have said or how I should have changed it or the way in which I would have said it. And having a mentor, they're able to point out what you did wrong and how to fix it. And again, like Charlie Munger said, you have to learn from mistakes, but nobody says that they have to be your own. And so having a mentor means instead of you spending a year or 5 years or 10 years figuring out what are the things you're doing wrong in your sales call and how to fix them, you could just hire a mentor and they're able to do what I do inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, what my mentor does, which is look at the call review, look at the call transcript and say, yeah, you shouldn't have done that there. You should have done this here. Let me show you how to fix it. Let me demonstrate it. Let me give a real example. And then you're immediately able to shave years or even decades off of your learning curve because of these 2 keys from having a mentor. So I'll say them again, just so you've got them crystal clear and I can absolve you from ignorance that you didn't know. Number 1, what are the things that you're doing wrong? You don't know what you don't know. You don't see your blind spots. And number 2, how to fix them. A mentor is able to help you with both of those. Now we know the 2 reasons that you lose a sale. What are the 3 steps then to turn that sale that we lost for one of those 2 reasons into a sale that we can now make, close the deal, generate commission, and turn a no into a yes? Well, we know that there's only 2 mistakes that would have actually, if we turned back time, turned that no and made it a yes. And so there's 3, and the transcript you want to look at visually and you want to look at audibly. So what was said and what was seen, what was said and what was seen. And you want to be asking yourself, okay, where did I miss something? Where did I not say something? Or where did I not do something on the call that I should have? And you also want to be looking and saying, where did I say something or do something that I shouldn't have done? So remember this. You want to probably write this down. Only 2 reasons. And the first thing to turn a lost sale into a sale is to review. Okay? I'll say it again. The first thing to turn a lost sale into a sale is to review. You can't fix something if you don't know what's broken. So you want to review, okay? The second thing, the very next thing, once you know what's wrong, and this is key, is you want to revise. I'll say it again. You want to revise. You want to take the things that you should have done, and through the call transcript or through the call video, you want to imagine popping them in place, okay? So imagine this. The call didn't close because of the two reasons we've said enough times now. It would have closed 99% of the time. And we're not going to get into beliefs about, oh, my prospects are not qualified. Fuck that. 99% of the time, calls that are on your calendar, if you've got inbound calls, they're qualified enough that you could have sold them something. Let's forget the 2% of the time that they're not actually qualified, okay? And you might not like me for that, but deal with it. So on the call, you want to revise the transcript. So you take the transcript and you can put a little note as well if it's something visual. If you're on the call and you moved and you looked a bit weird, put a little note and say, stay still as an example. If you're moving around, looking all over the place, okay? You want to take the transcript and you want to revise, okay? So we're taking what was a no sale and we're now manipulating it. Not the bad type of manipulation, because we're manipulating an inanimate, unemotional object here, not a human being. And you want to manipulate the transcript and the call and contort it or mold it into what it would have looked like if it had actually closed. Okay, so part 2 is revise. Part 3, and this is where the magic happens, you revoke. You revoke the no and turn it into a yes. But this is only going to work if you have reviewed the call and you know what you did wrong, and you've revised the call and you've fixed the mistakes. There's no point just doing traditional follow-up and turning up to another call with the prospect because you pestered them. Hey, John, let's have another call. They turn up to the call and you just make the same mistakes again. You don't say the things that you needed to say, or you say things that you shouldn't have said, or behave in ways that you shouldn't have behaved. Nothing changes. If you want to revoke the no sale and have that lost sale turn into a sale, you have to have done the first 2 parts here. But now we've done that, we can actually get a hold of the prospect again, and we can turn that lost sale into a sale. Okay, so it's 3 steps. Step 1, review. Step 2, revise. And step 3, revoke. Very simple. I want to explain this to you in a little story in a way that you're going to visually see it in your mind. So have you ever taken an exam at school or at university? Okay, so what happens? You take the test, okay, and you get it handed back to you. It's got a big letter on the top of it. F, failed. Big red F, and all scribbles all over the test of cross, screwed that up, did that wrong, said that wrong, etc. Failed the entire exam, okay? Just like a written exam, that is your transcript of a lost sales call. I'll say it again. That is your transcript of a lost sales call. It's literally just an exam that you failed. You didn't put something in the answer box that you should have put in, or you put something in the answer box that you shouldn't have put in. I want you to visualize it like an exam, okay? So the first thing that we've done with this 3-part process is the review. Someone, a third party in an exam, but in sales it's yourself, has reviewed it. They've gone through and said, nope, wrong, incorrect, did that wrong, and they've marked it, okay? Very simple stuff. Now, the second thing that happens is either a good teacher or you yourself, if you're a good student, you're going to revise it. You're going to go through and you're going to look at all the places that you got the answer wrong. And if you want to pass an exam, if you want to pass the life exam of sales and make a shit ton of money, instead of just looking at your piece of paper and going, oh, I got an F, whatever, and then potentially resitting it, which this is exactly why follow-up doesn't work very well. All you've done is sat an exam, got an F, and gone, okay, I'll just resit it. I'll just text the prospect or email the prospect and say, hey, John, you decided to buy yet, motherfucker? That's basically all you're doing. Of course they don't want to buy because you fucked up the sales call, okay? So just like an exam, it would be completely foolish to fail an exam and then go and resit the exam with nothing in between, right? Yet salespeople do exactly that. They fail the call, no sale, lost sale, and then they start following up. And Nothing happens. I mean, it's kind of obvious when you really think about it. Think of it like an exam. What would you do? If you're a smart person and you want to pass the exam, you're going to go, okay, I got an F. I'm going to revise. That's what it's called, revision. I'm going to revise, okay? So you revise, you take the exam, you look at all the places that you got the answer wrong, and you go, okay, I'm going to figure out, how do I get this answer right? What if it was a maths exam? You think, okay, what's the workings out to get to the answer? Okay, and then is that the answer? I'm going to check it with a calculator, etc. And you do that. And you go through the exam, going through all the questions that you got wrong, the exam questions, and revising them until you've got the answer right. That is how, when you then come and you say, you know what? I'm going to revoke my mark, my F, my fail. I'm going to revoke it. I'm going to resit the exam. So you sit down, get your pen out, put your specs on. You're like, right, I'm ready, because you've revised. Okay, so now you sit down. We're going to get into why this works and why this is so powerful at the end. You then resit the exam and you nail it. A+, distinction, full marks, 100%, because you didn't do what the average salesperson does. And remember the quote, the most dangerous phrase in language is, we've always done it that way. Or the same old thinking, the same old way of doing things equals the same old results. Okay, so if you sit the exam for the second time, the sales call in follow-up text messages and emails, or even you get on the line with them again, and you haven't done any revision, same result, which is why you end up following up for days and weeks and months. I even know people that are following up for years, and then they're like, oh, I got the sale. It's like it took you years of following up, okay? So instead of that, you want to focus your time on the revision part, where you're going through the questions and you're saying, okay, I'm going to change that, I'm going to rework that. And now you've got this exam that you had an F that is now covered in all of the right answers, what would have got you full marks. Hopefully, this is making total sense for you. Okay, so the next bit, part 2. We've covered what you need to do. Okay, review, revise, revoke. How exactly do you do that in sales? Well, I told you that there's only 2 ways that you lost a sale. You said something that you shouldn't have said, or did something that you shouldn't have done, or you didn't say or do something that you should have said or done. Very simple, right? So how do you actually turn a lost sale into a sale? You go through the transcript, and you also go through the video call if you want to watch the video call. But really, the transcript is more than enough. So how do you actually turn a lost sale into a sale? There's only 3 changes that you can make to the transcript. 3 changes. You can add something in. You can delete something from the transcript, or you can change the way that something was said or written on the transcript. That's it. You can add something, you can delete something, or you can change something. Very, very simple. So I want you to imagine this. You've got 2 transcripts. Imagine you had a time travel machine. Transcript 1 was when you took the sales call and you got a no sale. You lost the sale, no close. Transcript 2 is a different version of you that had all the sales skills. You've had mentorship, you've had training, you've been in the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, and you're just a sales savant. You're the sales Mozart. You're a top 0.0001% closer. And this is the transcript that did close the sale, that did put commission in your pocket, that did put money in your bank account. What is the difference? If you looked at the 2 transcripts side by side, what is the difference? There's only 3. The transcript that closed the deal has some things in it that the transcript that lost the deal doesn't. The transcript that closed the deal didn't have, in other words, were deleted from the transcript, some of the bullshit that was in the transcript that lost the sale. And finally, the transcript that closed the sale, that won the sale, that put money in your pocket, has some things worded slightly differently. That's it. So you can revise this. You can go through your transcripts, take a transcript that was a lost sale, read the transcript, listen to the call, watch the call on Zoom if it's a video recording, and as you're going through, go, oh, you know what? That question really didn't move the ball forward. That question really didn't help me or help the prospect with gaining clarity, gaining commitment, gaining ownership, getting more more movement in the sale. Didn't do anything. Delete it. Literally delete it from a copy of the transcript. Okay? Then you read a bit more and you go, you know what? I should have probed here. I should have clarified here. I should have asked this question. Write it into the transcript. Okay? Or you go a little bit further and you read something and you go, yeah, you know what? That was worded terribly. I should have said it in this way. I shouldn't have used that word, or I shouldn't have used that phrase, or I should have said it shorter, or I should have elaborated, or I should have not used that analogy. I shouldn't have said that. Change the words. And you're literally morphing cause and effect, or what we could call inputs and outputs. You're changing the transcript from what didn't close the deal to what did close the deal, what would close the deal, what would have actually made that a sale. I'm so excited to tell you why this is so powerful in a minute. This is also why having a mentor is so critical, because as you're going through the transcript and adding things or deleting things or changing things, you're going to get a percentage of those things to add, to delete, to change, because it's obvious. When you're watching the call back or you're listening to the transcript and reading it, you're like, oh, I should have definitely said this here. But there's also going to be things that, because you don't know what you don't know, having a mentor can give you an unfair advantage to be able to see around corners or to see ahead of time. Inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, every single week, I break down and I review and I show closers live on a 4-hour training. These are the things you should have added, these are the things you should have deleted, and these are the things you should have changed. And also, my mentor, the guy responsible for teaching me everything I know about sales and life, and who taught me how to go from $0 to $100,000 a month in commission within 18 months with no prior sales experience, he also does call reviews for our students, which are priceless. Like, there is nobody on the planet that is a better salesperson, in my humble opinion, than who is known in the mastermind as the underground mentor. Why underground? Well, he doesn't have any social media, doesn't have a website, no online presence. He was a reclusive multimillionaire in his early 20s, and I had to give up a massive equity stake in my business to get him to co-lead the mastermind with me. So all that to say, a mentor is going to allow you to see those blind spots that you don't see. And when you're revising your calls, pretty critical to know, oh, I should have said this and I shouldn't have said that and I should have said this in this way, okay? So how you actually turn the lost sale into the sale, you take the transcript, you add, you delete, and you change, and then now you're going to have a transcript that is an A+ or a distinction or a perfect transcript. That transcript, if you read that, you're like, oh my God, this would have closed the sale. This is exactly what I should have said, how I should have said it, what I should have done, the length of the call, the areas that I should have focused on, the key pieces that I should have picked up on. When the prospect said something that was uncertain, I should have said this, I should have probed on it, I should have clarified on it. That is literally the difference between a lost sale and a sale. Nothing else. Things that were added, things that were deleted, or things that were changed in the transcript, that is it. Okay, so the final thing I'm going to take you through, and I am so excited for you to see why traditional follow-up is so ineffective and why this is going to allow you to turn your lost sales into sales, but it's also going to allow you to get better at not losing the sale in the first place. So I want you to imagine golf, the game of golf, and you could be playing golf, or it could be someone you know, or you could be playing on a video game. When you take a swing at the ball and you hit the ball and it goes off in one direction, if it goes off in the wrong direction, why was that? It's because when you took your swing and you made contact with the ball, your swing, and therefore how the ball was contacted, was not correct. That's it. There's no other difference. That swing and the contact that you made with the ball, that represents the words that you say and how you said them and how you looked on the video call in regards to the transcript. Okay, so I want you to visualize that. You've got the sales call transcript, and as you're going down the transcript, that's like the golfer swinging down to make contact with the ball, and the moment that you make contact is the moment that the prospect says no, or the prospect says, I'm in. Yes, here's my credit card, process it, generate a commission, everybody's happy, win-win situation, person's life has changed, and you just got paid, okay? That is it. So that swing represents the transcript. Now, if you're a golfer and you mess up your swing, what happens the next time that you go to take another swing? Let's say you're at the first swing of the golf course, you're about to drive the ball down the range, and you do that, and it goes way off into the trees. So you think, you know what? I'm going to do it all over again. So you get another ball, you put it on the tee. What would happen if you just swung for it again? If you swung for it exactly the same as you did the last time, I would bet my entire bank account it's going to go in the exact same direction and end up in the exact same tree. That is what traditional follow-up is, guys and gals. You're like, I missed the ball. My swing was off. I'm just going to start sending text messages and emails or phoning them again or having more conversation, but you haven't corrected your swing, okay? But it's actually worse than that, okay? Because the swing represents the skill set, what to say, when to say it, how to say it, okay? That's very important. But what also happens if you were playing golf and you took the swing and it goes off in completely the wrong direction? Two additional things are going to happen. Number one, something is going to happen to your belief of yourself, your conviction. So you're going to say, you know, I'm pretty shit at golf. You know, I'm not very good. I'm terrible today. Your conviction, your belief in yourself before you take another shot at the ball, another swing at the ball, I should say, is going to be diminished. Now, if you've been in sales a while, you know how important your conviction is, because when you show up to the call and you have conviction, people buy because you have conviction. People buy because they're like, oh, this person feels certain to me. They feel confident to me. I believe in them. I trust in them. I'm going to open up to them, going to entrust them with my future, with my credit card details. Okay. And so not only when you swing and miss the ball, do you have a skill gap, you have a development issue with knowing how to swing and send the ball off in the right direction. But now you've done that, your conviction is going to go down. Your identity, the way that you view yourself. Now, we're not going to go into too deep a land of woo-woo and spirituality, although that is a massive part of selling at a very high level as well. But very simply, if you turn up to the next call a little bit self-conscious, a little bit uncertain, and you send text messages, you send emails, and you get on the phone with a prospect for the second time for your follow-up, then with less conviction, if you didn't sell them the first time when you had maximum conviction relative to now, how the heck do you think you're going to sell them when your conviction's gone down? It is not going to happen, okay? Very, very rarely do you turn a lost sale into a sale from traditional follow-up, and if you do, it was nothing to do with you. It was just the person's decided, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. And the business was the person or business or offer that they wanted to align themselves with. Nothing to do with you as a salesperson texting them and emailing them. Okay. So skills, identity, and conviction. And there is one more. When you're playing golf and you hit the ball and it goes off in completely the wrong direction, you're also going to start having negative what are called expectations or universal beliefs. So this is nothing about your belief about yourself. I suck at golf. I'm a bad golf player. I don't know how to play golf. This is just your expectation that you hit the ball and you know what? When I hit the ball again, I think it's just going to go in the tree. So when you've lost a sale, you've taken a sales call of a prospect and it didn't close, what happens to your universal belief? This prospect's not really qualified. This prospect's not really committed, or they didn't want to buy, so I'm going to send them some text messages, send them some emails. They're probably still not going to want to buy, okay? Your expectations start becoming negative, start becoming dismissive, start becoming pessimistic, start becoming assumptions that are not going to serve you, okay? So, traditional follow-up, we go, my skills haven't changed. They're just the same as they were when I tried to close and failed closing the person the first time. My identity or conviction has now gone down because I'm like, oh, I'm probably not that good at sales. And your expectations generally of what's going to happen have become negative. What is the probability that with all three of those things negatively hurting you, you are going to turn a lost sale into a sale? Pretty slim. The return on your time and effort invested is going to be very low. Why does the methodology, the system, and the process that I've taken you through before flip the script and make you massively more likely to turn lost sales into sales? In fact, you can turn almost every lost sale into a sale. It works for three reasons. The same three reasons that are working against you have now started to work for you. Let me explain. Your skills. You went through the transcript having not said the things that you should have said, having said the things that you shouldn't have said, having said things in ways that you shouldn't have said them, and you rewrote the transcript. So you've been training. You had mentorship, or you just went through your own call, and you have now developed your skills. If you don't change your skill set from before when you lost the call and lost the sale to after when you want to win the sale and close the deal and make money and get a commission, how are you going to turn a lost sale into a sale? You're not, okay? Whereas by actually reviewing the call and revising, the key there is revising the call, you have a shot at revoking the outcome, turning that F mark into an A+ or a distinction, turning that golf swing that knocked the ball off the green into the trees and turning it into a perfect drive and a hole-in-one, because you've revoked your skill set. Number two is because you've now actually done the work, your identity is going to go from, I didn't close the sale the first time, and I still don't know how I would close the sale if I were to just do traditional follow-up, to, you know what? I can really help this person. I know the questions that I should have asked. I know the dumb questions that I shouldn't have bothered asking. I know the mistakes I made. And your conviction is 10 out of 10. You feel amazing. You're like, yeah, I'm ready to speak to them again. I'm going to help them. I'm going to serve them. And you might even think, I'm going to close them. You see this. The conviction has changed because of the 3-step process I gave you. Review, revise, revoke. And the third and final thing, your beliefs, your expectations. Because of the first two, because you feel great, your self-confidence, your self-esteem is high, and your skill development has been improved, your expectation is, you know what, I'm going to call John, and I'm fairly sure he's going to buy. I'm fairly sure he's going to want to work with us, because when I ask the questions that I now know I should ask, and when I show up feeling good that I've put in the work to revise my call, to know what I didn't do to serve John that I now will do to serve John, your expectation is that lost sale is going to turn into a sale. I won't go into the woo-woo, like I said, but your expectations create your reality. If you expect someone to phone you, what happens? They phone you. If you expect something bad to happen, what happens? Something bad happens. It's the same with sales. If you're doing traditional follow-up and you're managing your pipeline and you're like, you know what, I don't really expect any of these deals to turn from lost sales into deals, how many are going to turn from lost sales into sales? Very few. But if you call the prospect back up, hey, John, it's Josh. I know we spoke the other week, and honestly, I really feel like there were some things that I think we could potentially help you with, but I didn't really show up in my best way. And I was curious, have you solved blank problem or blank challenge? No, okay. I didn't ask last time, but boom, and you hit them with one of the questions that you should have asked. And then now they're like, Josh, actually, I hadn't really thought about that, or I hadn't thought about it in that way. I guess that would be really bad if that happened, because I didn't fix this problem. And you see how, because of your conviction and the way you showed up and your skill set now being more developed, you actually turn the lost sale into a sale when you show up to the call, as opposed to calling someone, texting them, emailing them with this expectation and conviction level that is on the floor, like nothing's going to happen, and you don't actually have any better skills. Nothing's changed. You still don't have any ability, skill-wise or development-wise, to close the deal. Whereas when you actually do what I'm teaching you, you can call up anybody that you didn't sell. You've got amazing conviction, you've got amazing expectations, and you have the ability to ask those questions that you didn't ask, or don't say any of the dumb things that you said, or say things in a different way, that because you've now got this, it's almost like a cheat sheet. You've got this transcript that you're like, well, that was what I should have done. That's what I should have said. You just run that call. More or less, you ask the questions that you should have asked, and you say, hey, what about this? Or, what impact is that having on your kids? Or why haven't you done anything about this? Can I be direct with you? Why haven't you done anything about this? And you literally just run those questions. And then now, from the conviction, the expectation, and the skills that you've now developed, as opposed to just wasting your time pipelining and doing normal follow-up, you're actually going to turn lost sales into sales. I trained this inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind to a guy called Dr. Robin. Dr. Robin joined us. He's a chiropractor. He runs a chiropractic business, and he's also actually going to be helping other chiropractors with their sales team inside my Unicorn Closer Mastermind. My mentor and I, we have 2 levels. We have join as a closer if you just want to be trained and mentored to become the top 0.001% closer, or join as an offer owner. So if you're a sales manager or you're a high ticket offer owner, join, and we'll teach you everything about closing, but we'll also teach you how to write $1 million pitch, how to run a team of unicorn closers, and how to manage a sales team with a unicorn operations. So Dr. Robin joined as an offer owner, and I taught on a live training what I'm teaching you now. 24 hours later, without telling him to do it, he called up a prospect that didn't close. And he just asked the questions that we had trained, because we went through his call transcript, and I showed him, you should have asked this. You shouldn't have asked that. You should have said this in this way. And I went through line by line, and then Dr. Robin had this cheat sheet the next day, and our live call finished about, 8 p.m., the next day, 9 a.m., calls up the prospect. Hey, John, it's Dr. Robin. And he just asks these questions. There's no awkwardness. There's no, hey, John, I'm just following up, because you don't feel like you're pestering someone. You don't feel like you're bothering someone. You don't feel like you're the follow-up loser when you've actually taken the lost call, the call transcript that you didn't help the prospect, you didn't serve the prospect, you didn't make a commission, and go through it and go, I should have done this. I should have done that. That's professional. That's responsible. That's taking ownership to fix your mistakes. In life, money follows responsibility. And so Dr. Robin had this phone call and literally turned that person less than 24 hours later from a lost sale into a sale. And ever since that training, we've had people using this system, using this process, doing the review, doing the revision, and then revoking the lost sale into a sale without the weird texting and emailing and phoning people that you're following up with them, because you have the right conviction, you have the right expectations, and now you have the right sales skills. So if you want to make a load of money, if you want to be fucking rich in sales, there's only 2 ways. Close people on the first call, or actually, if you don't close them, figure out why. Don't just text them and email them and call them and say, oh, are you ready to buy now? Figure out why you didn't. And if you want help with that, there'll be a link below this video to join the Unicorn Closer Mastermind. If you want me to mentor you, if you want me to review and revise and revoke your call transcripts with you, and you want my underground mentor to do the same, we can absolutely help you do that inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind. And so that is how to turn lost sales into sales. We've gone through the 3 things that you need to do, which is to review, to revise, and to revoke. We've gone through how you do that on a sales call. You go through the transcript, you can add things, you can delete things, and you can change things. And we've gone through the 3 reasons that traditional follow-up has such an ineffective and low ROI, and why this way has a massive ROI, because you have the conviction after losing a sale that you actually know now how to close the sale. you have the expectations that after losing a sale, because you've put in the work, because you've taken responsibility, because you've taken ownership and revised the transcript, you have an expectation that you're going to turn a lost sale into a sale. And you now have the skills because you've gone through and trained on what questions you didn't ask that you should have asked and what questions you did ask that you shouldn't have asked. And when you do that, you are able to turn lost sales into sales and print money like you wouldn't believe, because every single lead that's on your calendar, you're either going to close them now or you're going to close them later, okay? Instead of just pipelining people and moving them backwards and forwards through your pipeline, do the work. Do the work to figure out why the call didn't close and fix it on the transcript so you know how to close it. So go ahead, use this methodology, use this process, use this system that I've taught you. Go and make a lot more money. And if you ever want more help, if you ever want more mentorship, if you ever want me looking over your shoulder, giving you support, giving you feedback, giving you guidance, alongside my mentor, there'll be a link below this video, and I might see you on the inside of the Unicorn Closer Mastermind. I'll see you in the next video.